In the last video I made, which is still today, I don't want the video to be too long. That is why I cut them. So in the last video I made, I concluded on counting in millions, trillions, and billions, right? So now we are moving to indices. Now look at these two words, index and index. This is just a simple singular and plural. And what is an index? It's the power of a number. Look at this number now. 10 times 10 times 10 is 10 raised to the power 3. 3 is the index or power of this 10. Look at p raised to the power 5. 5 is the power or index of p. It means there are 5 p's multiplying each other. Now we are going to focus on the multiplication law and the division law of indices in this video. So look at this law of indices. It says when a times raised to the power x, that is with the index of x, multiplies another number. Remember that their bases are the same. Then you just add their index or indices. That's why they call it indices. For instance, a raised to the power 5 times a raised to the power 3 is what? A raised to the power 5 plus 3, which is what? A raised to the power 8. We can now do this the long way. A times A times A times A times A. This is 5, right? Times 3 is A times A times A. Altogether, you have A raised to the power 8. So to make it easier, the law of indices or multiplication says if these numbers have the same base, if it is 10 raised to the power 5 times 10 raised to the power 2, it just be 10 raised to the power 5 plus 2. They have the same base, right? Pay attention to the base. So this will be 10 raised to the power 7. You can't do this for this, so you cannot do that, right? But you can still multiply the bases. You understand? You can expand it. You can't like do it straightforward like that. You cannot. You understand? They have to have the same base, right? So moving along, we see the division law. They said a raised to the power x divided by a raised to the power y is equal to a raised to the power x minus 1. This is just telling you that if they have the same base and they are dividing each other, just minus the power of their index. For instance, a raised to the power 5 divided by a raised to the power 3 is just a raised to the power 5 minus 3, which is what? A raised to the power 2. Remember, always do the long way and the index way. So look at this. A times A times A times A times A over A times A times A. So you begin to cut it. How many is left? Just A squared over 1, which is the same thing as A squared, as you can see. So the law of indices is not that hard, but when you see it inside the textbook and it's written in this format, you'll be like, what are they talking about? Once the numbers have the same base, and they are multiplying each other, just add their indices. Then if they have the same base and they are dividing themselves, you just subtract their indices. That is just the simple thing about it. Although there are special cases, and we are going to get to that, because the law of indices encompasses any kind of situation you might come in contact with when you are calculating mathematics. So in our next video, we'll go to the two other laws of indices that are important for you during your work. Because these things, you might look at them that they are too simple, but during this calculations that you are going to be making, when we get to the senior part, calculations that we are going to be making, you will see that we'll be going back to, I will be telling you according to the law of indices a lot. You'll be hearing according to the law of indices, according to the law of indices, very, very well. So for you to be able to understand me when I tell you when we get to that point, according to the law of indices, you have to know the law of indices, so that when I make that move, I do not have to explain myself again. That's why I'm starting from the barest minimum, right? So thank you for watching this video. Another video is coming where I will continue the law of indices till we wrap it up. Then we'll move to JS3 and what they have going on.